Hello, friends. Good to see you again. Alan Wasserman here. Again, I'm acting as the president of the Shore Music Educators Association that's in New Jersey and had just been presenting on using Zoom in piano lessons and online lessons. And I wanted to go into now a little bit about equipment to be using when you're using Zoom, ways to make your session better by using different equipment. And so let me show you what we had just been speaking about recently. Here is the topic is piano sessions online and equipment that you need for both the teacher and the student, and then additional equipment to make it even better, work better and better. Remember, there's part one of this series talks about settings to make your things better and better, and that's very important with Zoom in particular. Here we're going to speak about add-on equipment you might want to get. Now, remember, you can use your computer or your phone when you're working this way, but the computer really is the better option because it gives you deeper control of settings. And again, that's part one of this discussion, as compared to now where I'm going into part two, actual add-on equipment you could use. One point of add-on equipment to mention is to always keep a charger with a long cord close at hand when you're teaching by phone or computer, because you always wind up needing that at the funniest of times. I also find it a good idea to bring the electric closer to you by using a power strip to set up your studio better. When I'm having a session on the phone, I find it way better to use a tripod to hold the phone steady and level. You'll see it's so much easier to work this way. You buy a little extra adapter clip. This one was like $7. And notice that it screws into where a camera would normally go onto your tripod. Then when I'm teaching, there's a nice steady look to what I'm doing. And when I want to show someone my hands, I just turn the tripod and now the phone is being held at a level where they can watch me well. Notice you could go either landscape mode like this, so you get a nice wide picture, or portrait mode is when the phone is turned up this way. And that might depend on what the person is watching on the other end, especially if they're using an iPad or something. So I want to remind you to check how you look when you're doing your teaching. And you do this by experimenting. Call a friend several times and keep working. Work with the height of your camera. Remember that that's very important. Remember to look at the camera when you're speaking, because it's easy to look down at the screen or the keyboard and then people think you're not looking and paying attention to what's going on. Remember, a lot of this now is going to be about smiling and smiling with your eyes in order to keep things interacted and moving. Well, I like to use the computer or camera to be, I use a table where I can adjust the height and then experiment with what seems like a good height to you to be looking from. You don't want to look like you're down, and you don't want people to feel like they're looking up into you. This will help you work that way. People will hear you much better if you use a microphone, and plus you won't feel like you're shouting at your computer all the time. This little one's called the lavalier style mic. It's the type that pins onto your clothing and can be closer to you that way. Though I also bring it free, so if I'm showing the piano thing, you can move it over there. This little one was probably $25 or something. It's Power Devise is the company. Um, and you could also, though, go with regular, beautiful microphones like this Shure Professional, or this is called a shotgun microphone. It's telescopic, and this by the company Rode. And I like this a lot because I don't have to feel like I'm speaking right into a microphone. It's made to get your sound from over there. You're going to want to have some microphone stands, make it easier to move your microphones around. I meant to say before that I have one over at my piano, but when I'm using an electric piano, I put a mic over by my amplifier where the sound is coming out. And that way I get a pure sound. I shut off my vocal microphone and they get just that pure sound. They're not hearing noise from the piano and such. Well, you're also going to want a microphone stand later when we talk about webcams. You'll see that you wind up with a couple of stands around. Now, many microphones you buy are excellent, and they come with a USB port, and you plug them right into your computer easily that way. But a lot of higher end microphones require a way into the computer or into your phone or iPad. And so you would want to use a mixer to do that. And here you see my little iRig Pro. It's a duo, meaning that two mics can come in, and you see on the bottom there, mic 1 and 2 going in. And on the top is one line that comes out to go into my computer. They make different line outs, so you could have it go into your iPhone, for example, or into your computer, as I'm doing here. People will sound much better and louder to you if you bring your sound out of your computer and run it over to an amplifier, like a guitar amplifier and or a speaker. And you do that with a little wire like this one. Notice on the left bottom there is a plug that would go into the earplug outlet from your computer. And the other end is a guitar jack. They call them sometimes. It's a 1/4-inch cable and a 1/4-inch jack that goes into a regular amplifier. And again, I like this little Bose that I use. I get a great sound from this. That cable was pretty small, so I also recommend getting some extension cables of different types. I have USB extension cables for if I want my camera somewhere, and you find these on Amazon and places like Sweetwater Sound, and look around, you'll see different things. Here's a splitter that I use that's really valuable to me. It comes out of my computer or my phone's earplug. And notice on the bottom is the one plug that goes into the earplug jack. But it comes out to two openings. And one side, I put my lavalier mic that I was showing there that then goes on to me. And the other side goes out to my amplifier so I can hear and have good sound in the room that way. This one is a TRRS plug, and notice it has 3 little black rings on it. It lets things come out stereo. And so you might be interested in looking deeper into those. Here's the actual case to that little splitter that I'm using if people have asked about where to find one of those. And so there you go. And so here's the setup I use for a quick, easy when I'm not using big professional microphones and things. Notice in the center is the plug that goes into the earphone jack of the computer. Down below that, you see the microphone that I then put on my shirt or something. And then up at top is the wire that goes out to go to my speaker so I can have big, loud sound. This opens up the sound for me. Now, this is an adapter that helps people who have an iPhone 11, which has no headphone jack. And so this way I can come out of the lightning port and the other end is a headphone jack for you to use. A big advantage to using your computer over a phone is that you can add another camera or two, adding other views of things. So I like to add an overhead view for people to see my fingers, that I can switch cameras to this. And here's one, I use this little Aukey, and this was about $40 or something. Notice it's a webcam, and on the right, I was showing that the other end of the cable is just a USB cord, so you can go right into your USB port of the computer. And then I put an adapter to hold that camera onto the mic stand. It's the boom arm of the mic stand, so that it can be held way up above. Here's my Florida setup where I have just an electric piano, sadly. But notice that large stand is letting me switch from a view you're seeing of me right now to this overhead where you can watch my hands. Some people also add one for the pedal, by the way, and things. So you wind up, it's nice to have an adapter to add more USB ports to your computer. And there's many of these too, if you look at Best Buy or Amazon or anywhere. Here's a cool adapter that takes anything that's on your iPhone or iPad and puts it up on a large screen TV. The top adapter there by the word screen is a lightning adapter for an iPhone. It's a powered cord, so that middle is showing you also have to go to either a computer or an electric outlet to give some energy to it. And then on the right, you see the HDMI cable. So again, it lets you project up onto a large screen. And sometimes I enjoy doing my sessions where the person's really large in front of me. You start a Zoom meeting by sending an email invitation or a text with the meeting number and the password. Find those numbers by by clicking on starting a meeting and filling in the form. Set a schedule for the Zoom meeting, and then that way you can have a weekly session with someone. You set this up once, and every week they click on that link again, and you're able to have them, and you click on it, and you're able to have the meeting together the same way. So you should decide who's going to do this. Is it going to be the teacher or the student who does the invite? The one that does the invite can control more things, so it's nice to be that person. Again, see the settings video that I did. The other person gets to just click on a link and they're in the meeting, so it's nice to be that person too, actually. Here's just a photo of a Facebook session. Oh, pardon me, of a piano lesson session going on. Here is a screen to New Jersey friends. Here's a session going on the iMac. Friend in New Jersey, and these are friends from different places. I just thought it'd be fun to see some people enjoying their virtual lessons, their distancing lessons. Zoom is not good for rehearsing long distance because of this time delay that happens with Wi-Fi. But it is great for open mic parties and recitals and different events where people take turns playing. And this is a recital. So we did a recital up in New Jersey. This is my studio in New Jersey, I'm happy to say. And we did a recital with a friend who's in Oregon, the great composer Susan Thompson Smith. And we took 4 of her compositions. I gave them the 4 high schoolers who performed them in New Jersey while the composer was watching in Oregon and able to speak with us and tell us about the pieces. You can hear the recital on my YouTube page if you go look Alan Wasserman on YouTube, or Alan Wasserman Piano is the other way to find it. Anyway, notice on the screen there, you see to the left is the composer, Susan Thompson Smith. To the right is her piano teacher and a friend of mine, Laura Dubois. And notice in here too that you're seeing 2 different cameras. The one on the left is taking the room in general, but the one more in the center of your picture is the one that's the webcam. It's sending the picture and audio out to the people in Oregon. That's what they're watching there. There's many advantages to teaching from anywhere, I like to smile and say, especially being a New Yorker, lives in New Jersey these days, and spends a lot of time in Florida. This is an example of where I was teaching, I believe even a lesson in Mexico. And on my screen, you're seeing the teaching going on. I happen to look off to the left a little bit and look what I saw out the window there. Holy cow, I had to grab a quick photo of Roberta, who spent a few hours out there that day, actually. And and that was fun. And here's my friend Gilbert, our friend down here. It's an orthodontist dream. This photo was taken by, I put a large, I have a video camera that I put outside the window, out our back window here, and I can zoom right in on things. And then I take a cable from that and I put it up to the HDMI input of my large screen TV. So we have it really large in the living room. And then I take my cell phone and took this picture of this. So it's not all ugly here in Florida. There's also the beautiful Rosie, the roseate spoonbill who's out there. Well, wherever you are throughout the world, as you're working, doing online lessons, either nationally or internationally, I wish you luck and happiness and peace. I found this, and I always find this a great, great experience. It's been a really wonderful addition to my life and my work as a musician. And so I really thank you for going through this video, and I wish you good luck in the teaching that you have coming up. Remember, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to write to me at alanwass@aol.com or put comments down below, however you would like to reach me, and I'd be happy to speak with you more and help you more with things. So for now, wishing you all the best.